Welcome to a new show. We have Mr. Adam Blue with me. I am one of your other hosts, the sneakiest of all Samas out there. We're just going to try and do a little experiment here. We've been talking about this offline for a while that we were going to do a show together, and we're just going to talk about some figures that we've been picking up or what we've just been enjoying recently, and then we're going to just talk about them. So, how you doing, sir?
Yep. Doing good. Yeah, I'm glad we're doing this because we were just talking on the phone the other day, and that's when it came to me. It's like we should record what we're talking about because I feel like these conversations we have aren't really everywhere on the internet.
So they're not. I feel like there used to be a podcast or two out there that I would listen to where they would talk about toys, and they all kind of just died off at some point. And there's very
Yeah.
few that actually just talk about pickups, talk about what's going on in the world of action figures. And I'm glad to be doing something like this. So
We do. So I think our format, and we could change it if we go, but we'll have it where you show off a figure, talk about it, then I'll show off a figure and talk about it, and we'll just go back and forth with that. So
yeah, that sounds great. Perfect.
start. I'm curious.
All right. So I've mostly been kind of collecting some hot toys as of recently. So for those who don't know, hot toys are basically hyper realistic figures that have like cloth clothing on them and hyper realistic faces. You might see the actor, or they're based off of like just video games. Like I have a couple of those here. So first things first, I have the Hot Toys Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire or Bully Maguire, if you're so inclined to follow the memes and stuff like that. And it's a pretty cool representation. Like the face is amazing.
Yeah, the face is great. I love the look of the spider suit on that. It it looks
Yeah.
so good. And it's so this is interesting because I never thought they would make a figure of this.
Yeah. You know what? There actually is one from like way back in the day, and it is night and day if you Google the images like for the old one. Yeah, so and it comes with a lot of cool accessories. This one is the deluxe version. So you can see that it has the Tobey Maguire head sculpt on it. Then I have the actual black suit Spider-Man. Trying to make sure I'm in the camera frame here, so bear with me. We have the actual head.
It's a lot of detail.
Oh yeah. Although from a video I watched, they said that the head sculpt is not accurate for this.
Huh. There's always something.
Yeah, there is. And the downside here is that you can kind of see the seam line and the
Oh, is that a mistake?
no, I think that's just where they actually sewed the suit up so that way they
Really?
could
So
yeah.
it's like suit prop accurate.
I don't even know if I would say it's suit prop accurate because it literally is, and again I apologize for the shaky hands, but I'm trying to also make this in focus and yeah, get in the frame here. I'll get used to it as we go along, but uh the seam line just kind of floats around on the head here. And then to change out the heads, you literally just pull it off like so, and then you can switch it out. It's super easy.
Oh, I learned it.
So that's
And is there a joint at the neck? Uh, at the head?
yeah, there is for the masthead there is, but because of the cloth in the suit, you kind of have to be careful with it, but so it doesn't really bend a whole lot. Whereas probably just have to leave it like this, but whereas like you can see how it's moving up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of about the limit for it. Whereas with the head, the unmasked head, it is literally a ball joint for the neck. And then inside you can actually adjust the eyes so the eyes can rotate.
Oh, wow,
So-
that's cool. I like the feature.
yeah, so it actually looks like he's staring at you, you know? Then
Yeah.
and I think like this is the best part of it is that it comes with like this Venom sculpt.
Yeah, that is nice.
And then it just you layer it over the figure. So and then the tongue is magnetic and removable,
Wow.
which is really nice. And then there's this Venom piece here, which basically has a magnet right here and then attaches on the front, and then it looks like Venom is literally, or the symbiote is literally eating into his onto him like so.
Yeah, that's fully featured. I think that's an example of a hot toy just because of all the features and accessories that kind of, I guess, because for instance, the only hot toy I have, and we've talked about it, is I got that Batman Forever sonar suit, and I love the way it looks, but it didn't impress me.
Right. And that's kind of the thing about hot toys. They can be really hit or miss in terms of like the articulation. A lot of people get them and they just keep them in like a straight up and down position, kind of like what I have my other hot toy that I have
Yeah.
sitting here on the desk right now that I'll talk about in a minute.
Which is cool. I mean, because some people just like to collect the things to stand, but yeah, at least with a hot toy, you do get options.
Yeah, and they give you a lot of like different things to go with it. I don't normally take out the webs because it does come with web shooter related accessories. It comes with these two symbiote pieces that you can attach on, and so one goes like on the wrist, one goes on the upper forearm, which is nice. And then this is like the piece de resistance, I would say. If you're inclined to get this, is this like belt clock tower piece, and it has like symbiote goo all over it. It's a nice base, but it
That
takes
is
a
a
lot
nice
of space.
because that's even part of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. Well, so do you think it was worth buying?
So here's the thing. I'm always going to say with hot toys is that if you really like the character, it's worth it.
Okay. Yeah.
However, if you are looking for something that is going to pose up a storm, like maybe some of the other figures that we're going to talk about today, then it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something that looks really good, is a really nice representation of a movie or a video game or whatever may have you, then Hot Toys are definitely a good investment. Plus, they hold their value
Yeah.
as long
That's
as they
true.
don't break.
Yeah. They'll be sold out, and then will pay more to get them.
Exactly. As long as they're not broken. That's the big thing.
Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, and even my Batman sonar seat broke, and it might have been my fault. And I don't it was the ankle peg or whatever that is had broke because I was trying to move the legs and I couldn't. I was like, okay, whatever. And then one day I noticed it was kind of loose and I pulled it and it's like, well, crap. But I even emailed support about it and they didn't get back to me, but so it's weird. It's like
Kinda frustrating.
I had a bad experience, but it's like, you know what? There's another one, and I'll have to show it later. But that Hano Toys, it's not the same company, but the Wolverine,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know,
remember you getting that one. Is that the brown suit or the tiger stripe?
Tiger Stripe.
Excellent
Yeah,
choice.
that's mine. Yeah. Okay, well, should I do mine next?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's
Okay.
take a look at what you got there.
Yeah, so this is something that it's interesting because it's not something that I necessarily planned to buy because as much as I like Batman, I've never been into the Batman Begins Batman.
Right.
But I could still have Batman. And what were we gonna say?
No, I was just going to ask you, is that the Dark Knight Batman? Or is
You
it
know what? That's
Batman Begins suit? Because I think that's the Dark Knight suit.
okay. That's a good question. That I'm no don't know. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it is a later one. So it's the brand InArt, the company InArt. This is my first time buying anything of theirs. Again, the only reason I bought it was because this is $70, which I feel like is not a bad price considering Mothbacks, SH Figure Arts, etc. And I think what really sells it though might be the head sculpt because for something this is to me Hot Toys caliber. Like you were just talking about the Hot Toys.
I mean, that is
Uh,
so amazing how detailed that looks.
I know for this scale, it is like to be honest, I would rather have him posed like this. It comes with other face plates, it comes with other hands.
Yeah.
The other thing is the way they do the cape, how it's kind of like pleated here. Although, over time I could see it maybe unfurling. It doesn't have any bendy wire, which I guess that's
That's a little
fine.
disappointing to me, though, I think, in that sense. But from considering the in art, if from what I understand was like a 1/6 scale company first, I think that's
Oh.
a pretty good start into 1/12 collecting.
Yes, exactly. Because that's our I think our favorite, maybe, when I'm collecting action figures, I like them in this size, and so the articulation on this is really good too, but it does the thing, and we were talking about this, that SH Figure Arts does, I'm not crazy about, and that's that thigh swivel that's like a whole extra
Segment.
yeah. Yeah, where it just kinda looks strange standing there, almost like you have higher boots on, and that could just be me, but other than that, I am super shocked with how detailed this is, how this turned out. I'm looking forward to their other, 112 releases.
Yeah, I've been actually kind of eyeing this, but because it seemed like from the early reviews that I had seen from certain reviewers like Robo, formerly of the Floosh,
Oh, yeah.
he did a review of it. I think I have also seen, I want to say Unparalleled Universe did a review on it. There's been a few of them, but they were all saying like, oh, they don't have it available to be in America. You would have to buy it from like a third party site, like let's say Ami Ami, which is where you and I like to buy a lot of our
Yeah.
collectible stuff
Yeah.
from.
I pre-ordered it from the company, I don't know, 1/6 kit. I just when I saw this, I wanted to get it so bad, I just searched in our Batman, found this, it was
Uh,
70 for shipping. That's like,
Damn
okay.
good.
Yeah, and then it might have came to 75 total, but it was just I pre-ordered, and then I got an email saying, "Hey, this is ready to ship. You want to pay for it?" And I was like, "Yes." So I felt like that was relatively easy to get in that sense, but yeah, really curious to see what more they do because I would want to get. Oh, but okay, I'm going to move on real quick, but real fast. I think one other thing I didn't think about was how this is a realistic thing. I was thinking in my head, what if they did Wolverine from the X-Men? They animated. And it's like, well,
Oh yeah.
I feel like Mafex pulls that stuff off pretty good already. So
We definitely need to talk about QC issues though, like with
that's a good idea for an episode.
yeah, I think that'll be a good topic for another episode. But yeah, I really like the idea of these more realistic 1/12 scale figures,
Yeah,
and
yeah, me
that
too. Because I
phase.
think, like, yeah, the technology's there. And even, you know what, I'll have to show it another time. Remind me, I have a Batman model kit. The Batman from The Flash, the Ben Affleck Batman in the blue. They don't have an action figure, but they made a model kit, and the model kit's actually very highly detailed.
Does
So
McFarlane have it? I know you don't necessarily like McFarlane as
yeah,
much, but
I even have that one you're talking about, and it is crack. It just has to be crap. And the blue is from the platinum. Is how like he has the harder to find ones.
yeah, yeah, the more collectible esque
I
ones.
bought it
Uh,
for $45 overseas, and just I didn't that I'd find it anywhere. It might be available, but okay. I'm curious what you got next.
we'll stick with Hot Toys. I guess we'll just kind of bounce back and forth between big and small here today. So
Yeah.
let me move this off to the side here real quick, and then click over to mine again. So I have this is from the PS5 launch title Spider-Man Miles Morales game. So this is the Purple Rain suit, not to be confused with Prince the artist or the artist really known as Prince, but this is called the Purple Rain suit. Huh?
Wait, did you say this was from the first or second game?
So so the box says it's from Spider-Man 2, the PS5 version, but the suit made its original appearance in the Miles Morales spin-off game right after Spider-Man 1 that launched on PS5 when PS5 first came out in 2020.
Which did you play that one,
I did.
Miles? That was good.
It was. I enjoyed it a lot. This is actually why I got this figure because I like this suit. So, funny story with this suit though is that this figure and suit version was announced like a couple of years ago and it never went up for pre-order. And then all of a sudden last year went up for pre-order. And so I was like, I want this. This is mine. I've been wanting it. It's the only Miles Morales figure that I'm probably going to buy as far as Hot Toys and all of that because I have other Spider-Man figures in 1/6 scale as well.
You have the advanced suit from PS4?
I wanted it. I actually did buy it, but then it got lost in the mail. Like it got delivered to someplace else next, like, and they wouldn't go back. The mail person wouldn't go back and pick it up and give it to me. So it got lost in the mail.
And you lost that money?
I got it back.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I was supposed to have the advanced suit, the original advanced suit, and then it just never
I love
happened.
that. Ooh. I think that's even better than the movie seats.
I like it a lot. I do like it a lot. Like it grew on me after a while. Like I have classic suit that he shows up in. Yeah, go ahead. I have classic suit. I have the Iron Spider suit, like the one from the comic version. And then I also have I now have the PS5 symbiote suit also. I have a few of these different Spider-Man figures. Like it's become a bad habit. Let's put it that way. And Hot Toys is a rabbit hole, as we've always talked about.
No, I think that's cool. You know what's funny? I have a handful of Spider-Man figures I was gonna show today. So it's kind of funny that I was like, no, let me use Spider-Man later. I think that's good because you can do your Spider-Man, I could do my stuff. But there is something about Spider-Man action figures that I
Oh, yeah.
think are it just speak. They're sleek, but they retain that Spider-Man look that's, I think, very iconic.
Right. So the big downside with this figure, it doesn't come with a whole lot of accessories. It was a little bit cheaper than this one, than the black suit. But it comes with the slashing effect, like he's actually slashing you. So he has these clawed fingers.
Oh yeah.
You can see it a little bit better now. And they kind of retract. So real quick, like little bit of tidbit information. If you don't know who Miles Morales is as far as lore goes, he is the nephew of the Prowler, which is one of the villains. And so and spoiler alert if you haven't played the PS5 or version or PS4 version of Miles Morales, but the Prowler actually made this suit for him, for Miles. And so you do like a few quests and then you wind up unlocking this suit. In the PS5 version, there's different color variants of it. So I think that's also why they marketed it as a PS5 Spider-Man game. So that way, in case they ever release other ones or other versions of it, then you have. So I think that's why they did that.
You know, I ended up buying the Marvel Legends Miles action figure. I actually liked the way that looked.
Is it the retro carded one or is it a different?
No, it was before. I think it was right before they were doing the retro carded, and they also came out with the blue translucent.
The invisible.
What I was wanting is
that is pretty cool. Marvel Legends, as we'll probably talk about, is probably not my preferred method of collecting. You know,
although I do have a Marvel Legends to show actually. So,
well, I mean, I could cheat and spoil this.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, we'll go ahead. Let's go ahead. Or are you going to show that more later?
We can, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay, yeah, then let me do real quick, and I'm not going to spend time on this. I was recording my review today for the Metal Robot Spirits Zeta Gundam, and this is it in its Wave Rider form.
Is that the Metal Build or the Metal Robot Spirits?
Oh, I'm sorry, Metal Build. Thanks for the correction, because they're different lines.
I'm going to hold you accountable, sir.
Yes, thank you. Metal Build. Amazing. Review coming up soon.
I said I'm looking forward to that. And in case people don't know who you are the Gundam Explained himself.
Yeah, that's right. And so, yeah, try to cover the Robot Spirits lines because those are awesome action figures that I don't feel like get a lot of coverage. So I think that's one of the reasons I was excited to make a channel covering it.
Yeah,
but
I love that.
So I wanted to show off these Wolverines here. So this is from the movie, which, to be honest, I didn't really care about the movie too much. It was a fun little thing to watch, but I like things that have like lore that I sit on and then I really connect with. But I will say, for a live action movie, I really appreciate the design of this type of Wolverine because they're trying to call back to that classic of my favorite, the animated series one. So this is the first S8 Pure Arts Wolverine, right? There is no other. And like we were talking about, and in art does, we have that thigh swivel where it's too much of like a separate looking piece where it always looks like he has high boots or something. You don't see that on the Marvel Legends, and I appreciate that. Now, one thing here is I bought these arms off of AliExpress. These are
Oh,
arms someone was selling on there. I want to say I might have just paid $20, and I was able because I wanted to, give it that look. Even though technically I would still want the blue uh shoulder pads.
right. That is kind of a downside. Like I was like thinking, what's missing from that? And then I realized it's the shoulder pads.
Exactly. The shoulder pads, and this is something Anthony's Customs talks
Mhm.
about a lot when it comes to like the shape of the shoulder, how Marvel Legends makes things look too like you can even look at both of these, how the chest in proportion to the rest of the body of the SH figure arts is much bigger. This has a more superhero look. This is like a guy in a costume.
Yeah.
But I will also say for Marvel Legends, this looks good, and I think it's because they probably put more of a budget on a figure like this. So
Right.
I would say the bottom half of this figure is better than the bottom half of this, but the top half of it. So why don't we do a swap now? That they're not compatible, but uh,
That would be
and
funny.
I'm not too big of a fan of this type of waist swivel. I I don't hate this. I just don't like that it makes more
Yeah.
articulate, but I don't hate it because I do like that you can get that there. So,
I
what are
think
your thoughts?
there's room for these things, like for both of these. I think there's downsides to both, right? Like obviously, with Marvel Legends, the plastic quality can be there and be kind of like hit or miss here and there. And
Yeah.
you know, SH Figure Arts, they have some QC issues here and there now too, like more so, especially depending on which factory it comes from, which I think the Vietnam factory is the more, at least in terms of like Dragon Ball figures, which we could talk about in another episode. But for a while, there was an issue where figures were coming out with more QC issues based on the factory that it came from. So if it came from like the Vietnam factory, it was like probably going to be better. If it came from the factory in China, it was actually going to be worse, like in terms of maybe paint or QC, something along those lines.
I think I heard you brought that up before. I don't know if it was related to a Gundam release, a Robot Spirits release, with something to do with, oh, if it came from this factory, there's something wrong with the foot. I don't know. For some reason, that popped in my head, but
It's
that's
probably a long time ago, but yeah, that's a good callback. Yeah, because there was some issues with things like that for a while. I don't know if that's the case, just because I've kind of slowed down on collecting Dragon Ball figures, for example.
yeah.
I've mostly like just been collect if I collect something, it's like the robot spirit stuff, that's become more my primary.
Yeah, I that's my primary too. But I will say my youngest was collecting some of those Bandai Dragon Ball figures, and they're actually cool. Even though I don't know about Dragon Ball, those figures are cool.
Are they the Shoto ones, or are they like the Dragon Stars, or are they actual SH figure arts?
SH figure arts. One was one where like his pants are all ripped up. Does that sound familiar?
Is it Goku?
Yeah, I think I forget. And then he
Is it
got
this
the
guy?
little guy. Yeah, I'll have to check. You know what? And I bet he doesn't want them anymore. And then I'll just fold them into my now.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah. No. You know what's interesting though about that? I don't know much about Dragon Ball. I don't have a problem with it though, but the figures are cool. So that's like an example of like that's the figures are just cool just for their designs.
Yeah, they are. And to your
Yep.
point, like with AliExpress, like I was getting some third party head sculpts for a while just to kind of make the figures look even more enhanced and stuff like that. Because SH figure arts are great. I love them. And Marvel Legends has their time and place, just like all these other companies that we have. But I agree. I know I kind of know what I like at this point, and so it's kind of hard to shift out of that mindset to try something potentially new when you're just kind of used to being in that bubble.
Right. Of just like, well, I like this, so I'll collect it.
Right.
When it's,
Exactly.
I think, yeah, we have this freedom now, and it's almost freeing to be like, okay, what should I get based on what I like? And then thinking about spending the money too, because you might want to get a higher end figure, so
Right.
there's a lot of good options out there.
Definitely. All right. Should we go on to number three here? I guess
Yeah.
we'll just stick to Spider-Man for the moment. I do have one thing that's not Spider-Man related, but I showed it earlier, but it's this Marvel Legends Gamerverse Venom. So this is
I
10
did
inches.
I am there. Oh, that's the one that okay.
This
Because
is
I
10
think
inches.
I
I have 21 inches also.
oh, okay. So let me tell me what you think about this because I'll see it on Amazon and I'm always always almost about to buy. It looks like it's the same sculpt as like the movie one,
It's not.
but just smaller. No? Okay. I mean bigger.
I would say it's definitely bigger. The toes are probably about as close to uh where the movie version would be.
Oh,
I have some slight issues with this one, only in the sense of like the leg on this one is really weak. Like it just you see how fluid that is. Like I like it, but it's too fluid. It's not
for like
this.
trying to get us
Yeah, like
to try to get a certain pose,
yeah,
the knee might fall. Purple.
yep, well, and the toe joints, like you can see right here. Let me just keep it on the table there. You see how that? So it's not very
Do you,
sturdy.
do you ever reinforce joints?
I have in the past, but because I haven't really, and I'm not even completely sharing that screen. I was sharing your hands there for a while, so whatever. But they can figure it out. They'll be okay. You're right, guys. You viewers, you'll be okay with that for a second. This is a pilot episode. We're just figuring it out.
That's right. And you're running it, doing a good job.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I need a little bit more praise today. So like the toes, they're really fluid. I can reinforce the joints. Like I do know how to do that. I've done that in the past. I just haven't really like sat down and really put no time in to do it. But this leg, I guess a lot of people were having that issue where like a leg or something along those lines, it was like super loose. The head sculpt's not too bad. I don't necessarily like this head sculpt as much, even though
Yeah,
a decent head sculpt.
it seems to be a lot of mouth, even though Venom has that. There's,
Compared to like this I like this kind of thing, but I kind of wish that there was like the kind of like with this one right here, right, where you can kind of see it's just it's so good, and you could take out the tongue. But
yeah, that's really cool. It's interesting how if you because that's supposed to be a 1/6 scale head that you're holding, but the one on the ground is the 1/12, but he's bigger.
yes,
Hey, put him next to the Spider-Man 3 one because that's interesting. It's pretty interesting,
right.
how big it is.
Well, so again, scaling, right? So you got to imagine like a one. If I went and got the 21 inches of Venom right now,
Yeah.
it's huge. I mean, it is so huge. Like it would take up this entire table. That's how big this thing is, or that thing is.
That's awesome.
And it's amazing. I love it. Like I have some ideas for something I want to do, like maybe down the line with these different things, like the Venom head over here. But I was like, okay, I really want like a Venom that I can just kind of pose around. Cause again, hot toys are not really meant to be super posed around. They're not even though they're superposable or potentially superposable, the material that the suits are made out of, you don't want to mess those up. You mess those up, it's kind of over for that figure. And then you just wasted however much you invested into it. And I invested some money into that 21 inches of Venom.
Wow. Well, that's funny you bring that up because it reminds me back in the early 2000s, I had bought these 1/6 scale Army of Darkness action figures that had cloth.
Yep.
And I ended up selling them because they were just ripping apart. And I was like, I don't want to maintain this. It's going to keep losing in value. So I'll just sell this for what I can. And then I have the 1/6 scale Marvel Select Blade
Yeah.
that came Blade 2 that came out in 2002. And that thing is deteriorating, but I like it. So I have it. But yeah, it's a real thing. Now, have you heard of like newer technology or maybe certain hot toys that are known to withstand time better?
I think it depends on the suit material, right? So, like, for example, an Iron Man figure, which I have a few of those too, in Hot Toys, because they're made out of plastic or metal, they're definitely going to stand the test of time versus something like this, which is cloth. This is all cloth. So,
What about, like, for instance, my Batman has more of that rubber.
so if you keep the arms bent too long, you're going to see like a huge crease in that suit. And then the rubber will eventually start to fall apart because you kept it in that pose too long.
I have them like this and then holding his batarang. So I might have to. What if it's
Want to
like
change
every
it up every so often. You don't want to just leave it in that pose. So here in my apartment where I live, I don't have AC, but my apartment doesn't get so hot. It gets warm enough in here, but it's decently cool. You can cool it off pretty quickly in here. So I don't really worry too much about like the suit materials being affected too much, especially because they're not really in like direct sunlight. Like I keep my hot toys that I have in my other room away from the windows so that way it's not super hot, you know?
you know, then that reminds me. I wonder if maybe we should do it whenever we do these episodes. We'll grab some of those figures that we have and be like, hey, let's do a new pose. That
Mhm.
kind of keep us in that routine.
Oh, I would love that because like I have one of my other figures here that we'll talk about later is definitely all about that. So the last little thing about this Venom, it has very limited accessories. So if you really want it just to have like a, posable Venom, like that's decent, like it's only got like 4 hands in total, but I think it's kind of worth it if you like Venom, just
Okay, yeah, I do.
just for the design.
Yeah, I bought the movie Denim figure because it was pretty good, even though I didn't really care
Yeah.
too much. It's just that was a good figure. Yeah, because one of my favorite Toy Biz toys from the '90s was a Venom, a black Venom that I think his arms just went up and down like this.
Uh-huh.
But
We should.
and
That
it's
would be
that
a cool.
bulkier Venom bit. Like
Yeah.
I like it when he's a little bulk.
Yeah. I mean, that's more of like a Todd McFarlane design, right? So definitely the lethal protector venom. That's a cool one.
Well, speaking of Todd McFarlane,
Here you
my
are.
next figure. Oh, we got it up.
Yep.
Okay, this is the McFarlane Deluxe Edition Superman. It's deluxe because it comes with crypto, but it also comes with several faceplates, which I gotta say, I think, I mean, this
Oh,
is messed up. Yeah. It comes with several of these. Now I think I'd put them in a bag somewhere.
wait a
It's
second.
actually
What the heck? That is. Oh my god! It looks like there's a whole other face underneath there, and then the nose got ripped off and part of his
yeah.
skull. That is creepy. Don't
I know that is don't show that
13
anymore.
plus, 13 plus here, folks.
But I gotta say, I feel like Todd McFarlane pulled that off.
I agree.
You can't the little line by the ear, but not bad. Anyway, I don't. Okay, so I'm a fan of filmmaking, and for
Right.
me, and I'm not a fan of Superman, but James Gunn making a big budget Superman movie that he wrote directed, I like that whole just the vibe. So I wanted to grab this, and I don't even really care about a lot of this, but I do like that it's a cloth cape and it has a bendy wire. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty good. One thing I will complain about with Todd McFarlane is why does Superman have this hand? I mean, I guess it's good to have a grip hand, even though there's nothing to grip. But if you want him to fly, like you're gonna have to always do this. Now he does have the hand that goes straight or whatever, the
Okay. So
flying
you
hand.
have the flying hands. Okay.
But I think Superman should have two fists. If you just think of a lot of imagery of Superman fighting. So these Todd McFarlane figures are crazy because I feel like they're 50% amazing, but then 50% like the pin joints. And then like this plastic is messed up right here that's rubbing against there. Like
Yeah, I
there's
see
all
that.
there's these little things that keep the McFarlane figures from being incredible. It's almost like Todd McFarlane stopped, or I don't mean him, but it's the brand, stopped innovating with action figures. They innovated the action figure by making them realistic, detailed, adding up more articulation. But then I don't know. I feel like they kind of stopped. But I also heard he's not going to be doing T much longer. Is that true?
I don't know how true it is. I feel like he
Okay.
still has the license to a degree. I think that Playmate there, no, it's not Playmates. It's Mattel is getting the license back or something like that because they had lost the license and that's why Todd McFarlane took over. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I think, people used to complain all the time that he would just make statues, like his older figures didn't really do a whole lot, and people would complain about it. Like a NECA, if you have the Terminator 2 or T-800, he can't really do a whole lot, versus like if you have the Mafex, you know?
Yeah, and that's what's very interesting, like, and I could be wrong, but American company versus, like, the Japanese companies or whatever, it's like the engineering is a big part of it, whereas it seems like with Todd McFarlane or even, like, NECA or even Super 7, it's like the
Mm,
cheaper plastic that's super expensive, and we get and it's yeah, I don't know. Uh, you know what? I also have that's weird that I have the Supergirl
hmm.
from the last Batman movie that had Kara
Yeah, car. Yeah.
and it was just because I had no idea that character was in that movie. Like, first of all, I didn't watch that Batman movie because I didn't think good, and then I watched it and I was like, "This is good." And then that Supergirl character showed up, and that was a badass character. Like, it grabbed me, and so that when that happens, I buy the figure.
Yeah.
Because yeah, in that movie, because she was just like because I guess they took her powers, so she was so pissed off when she got her powers back that she was just destroying.
Oh yeah. But I have a thing here. Like I'm thinking about like the pose, for example. You were talking about with that hand, for
Yeah.
example, that like what could I use as a pose? Well, you could get if you get Lex Luthor, you can have him like lifting him up and choking him.
Yeah, so there's that, and, like, maybe, like, an enemy has, like, a weapon, and he's catching it. So, this is a good hand to have, but it's just weird to not have at least a closed fist with it.
Well, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people complain about with Todd McFarlane's stuff in general. Like that while I think he means well and he's doing like he's trying so it doesn't necessarily always justify the means, right? But to say that he was trying when Hasbro was upping the prices for Marvel Legends, right? He was the one that was kind of like, okay, I'm not going to increase prices because I don't need to,
Yeah.
right? I think he still wound up increasing prices to a degree, but not to the level in which like Hasbro's been doing it, and so and there comes like a cost. And again, I'm not an action figure maker or anything like that. I'm just an enthusiast here. So, like, I'll leave that to people like Anthony's Customs who are actually trying to get a line off the ground or Unparalleled Universe who did Odious.
Or Gavin Hignite, writer of Requiem for Vengeance, has action figures that,
There you
company
go.
that isn't that crazy? So, yeah, it's
There.
interesting.
Shout out to him. He was actually just
Yeah.
watching Requiem for Vengeance yesterday.
Oh, really? That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Did you like
He said it's super realistic. So we'll have to talk about that offline or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But I
Yeah.
like that Superman. That's a cool, the faces other than the underneath face thing. That's
Yeah. I think
pretty
they
decent.
did a good job of the likeness.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than funny, they already announced the SH Figure Arts and the Fonjoy, which I like that brand. We'll talk about that another time. And I think this looks better than those.
Interesting. Okay. Can't wait to
Yeah.
see what Mafex does when they announce theirs in like 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the running joke because they take forever to release stuff, but at the same time, when they do, it's going to be generally good, especially now anyway.
Well, don't you have the tactical suit Batman?
I do, I have the original Mafex Justice League Batman released for that, and then I have a kit bash, so to speak, with the Mezco tactical suit Batman that I kind of took and mixed
Oh,
together.
yeah, you told me about that because I've been wanting to get the Mafex one and it's super expensive now, but they have a re-release coming and I pre-ordered it. And
I
that was
want
like
the
last
Nightmare
year.
Batman.
Oh, yeah. And Fonjoy makes his
Mm.
too. Again, we'll have to do that at another.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I guess for my last figure, yeah, we'll just kind of do something Gundam related. Just I thought this would be a good little thing here, but say hello to the Mighty Strike Freedom in a pose because I didn't have a chance to take it out of pose yet.
And
But
that's the Metal Robot Spirits,
it
right?
is the Metal Robot Spirits. This is one of my prides and joys. We're slowly corrupting people. In case the viewers didn't know, we have a cult, not a real cult,
Yeah.
because I know people are
No,
just
that is
run with that.
no, and I gotta say, I'm so glad that you're bringing this up on our first podcast for this because I do feel like that's one of the coolest robot spirits I own.
Yeah, I really do like this figure. The only I really can't on as far as the Proud Defender goes, like I really that's one of the problems right there. I was about to
Yeah.
say that's my biggest issue with it is that the backpack, these pieces fall off. Like they're super easy to reattach. I'm fine with that, but it's just kind of annoying when you're in the middle of trying to pose it and then it just kind of all of a sudden falls apart. Yeah.
And it's funny because slowly then I started liking the old backpack too. I was like, well, you know what? That releases backpack is also awesome too with the detail.
Oh, it's amazing. Like I love the Strike Freedom Type 2. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, shout out to Goose because we were talking about the Strike Freedom the other day, and he was kind of like wondering about like the lore behind it. So and how
Oh,
Type 2 came about. So maybe a potential video.
oh, actually, that's a good idea because I've gone through them, but not explained exactly the lore behind that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I should
So
actually do that.
so as far as the figure itself goes, it's a solid. I love this thing. It's solid, right? It's just if you like the Strike Freedom, if you know about the Strike Freedom, it's more of the same. The Proud Defender, though, I feel like they could have added more to the box to justify the cost that I paid to get it versus something
Yeah.
like the Zeus silhouette.
And I think we paid the same, right? And then
Probably.
now I've looked on AmiAmi and it's less than $100.
Yeah, I was kind of, and I'm gonna say annoyed, about that.
It's because we want these things when they come out, but sometimes, and it's kind of random sometimes,
Yeah.
that they end up being cheaper down the line. It's like this, like the Zeus silhouette is expensive, but
Yes.
the Proud Defender dropped in price.
Right. My other gripe with this thing is this sword, the katana. It is too flimsy in the hand. The hilt feels like if I bend it too much, it's going to break. And same thing with the blade. This is so flimsy.
Yeah.
I hope that a third party company at some point does like an actual like blade. Kind of like what there was a company when I was getting back into or when I was getting into collecting back in 2013. And I believe they did Power Ranger related accessories. So Starlight Studios
Oh,
is the name of them.
yeah.
And so they did like accessories, like for example, the 1995 Shogun Megazord release, the deluxe Shogun Megazord. They had a replacement chest piece, so when the transformation happened, it folded upward, and it was actually a metal piece, and it wasn't like plastic. And then instead of a plastic sword, they gave you a metal sword for the flaming sword that it had. Do you remember that?
Yeah. But was it like a sharp sword though?
It's not sharp, but it's legit metal and it's
That's
heavy.
That's good. Okay. See, I think you're onto something there. I mean, especially considering he's our metal with the bot spirits.
Right. Like we're paying a good chunk of change. Like the Strike Freedom by itself, $150. The Proud Defender, I paid about as much for that when it, because I really, really wanted it. Like this is one of my favorite suits. Like, you know,
Yeah, because wasn't
like
it where I hot on AmiAmi and then I bought it and then I like told you I was like, oh my god, there is this it? And I think I was asking you, is this the right one? Did I get? Yeah, that
hmm
I was
yeah.
hiding times. I did not expect that.
Yeah, no, I mean, these figures, there's a lot of like love, especially for the Seed line. If you are a fan of Gundam Seed or Gundam Seed Destiny, now Gundam Seed Freedom, Stargazer, so on and so forth. And so when there's things like this where these pieces fall off or these katanas are, we were talking about QC at the beginning, where I feel like something's going to break and I spend X amount of dollars over what I think it's worth. And I get something like that, it kind of sours me a little bit.
I agree. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like though it's going to get better just because it seems like costs are rising in general.
Yeah.
So then what is that? What is that balance? Do they like, okay, we're going to back off on some things to not raise the price, or I'm just going to raise the price, but
Right, exactly. And so, when I see something like that, and I'm going to try something real quick to see what happens, but when I see something like that where the costs are increasing, yeah, it's going to make it harder to collect and stuff like that, but it's something that you kind of have to evaluate how worth it is this to me. you know?
Yeah.
I saw that exam last night on Ami Ami, and it's on Nin Nin Game.
I know, but I don't know. It like, I want it really bad, but, we talked, even the Switch 2, I was like, "Man, am I gonna drop money for a Switch 2?" It's the same price as the big fan, but I would rather get the Switch 2. It's
And see, like, I'm just kind of like right now where I'm at, I'm like, as much as it would be cool to have a Switch 2, I think there's too many things that I still feel like the Switch 2 is not doing right, where I can't necessarily justify the cost. And even the big Zam, like money wise, like I can't justify the cost at the moment as much as I would want it.
and for me, gaming is like my second passion, so
Mhm.
that's the other reason. If I wasn't into gaming, or at much, I should say. If I didn't cover games daily, I probably wouldn't buy the Switch 2.
Right. So yeah, I hear you, man. It's the vices, right? Like the things that we want, can't always have, and the things that we can't always have, we want.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And then we get them, and then we move on.
yeah, what do you got?
But anyway, well, what's that?
What do you got for me? That last one.
Oh, okay, cool. You kind of
Yeah.
okay. So this, I totally forgot about this. I just bought this last weekend. I was with my daughter at Target, and it, she had a birthday, so I was like having her pick stuff out, and then I was like, wait a minute, am I buying myself something? This is this is Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
This is a McFarlane X figure. I knew they made Warhammer figures. I just didn't know they were making them from the game Space Marine 2.
Hmm.
And I don't have it on right now, but the alternate head is a painted human head of the character Titus. I should have had it here. So we were just talking about McFarlane, and like we got to look at this and be like, this is a completely different type of engineering right here.
Yeah.
Like for McFarlane at studio to know, like, look at the size difference,
Oh yeah.
you know, of these. And there's cloth here, so many pieces to this. Like, I was collecting the Joy Toy of Warhammer Space
I
Marines.
remember
I don't know if
that.
okay, you do. And I liked them, but that was like, oh man, I could go down a rabbit hole. But there was something about them sometimes where I was like, I don't know, it's something's missing. But this, I feel like, yeah, what helps because the Joy Toy are smaller. This being this big and just, I don't know, the Todd McFarlane sort of deco, I think, works for Space Marine. You know what I mean?
I do.
And it's okay, cool. And then you kind of see it throughout here. It like just even the little wash that's in the gold here, where it's almost like it's not perfect. Like even yeah, even in the red of the eyes, there's black around it. Like
Mhm.
this, and so what was interesting too is when I saw this at Target, I was like, what? And I go to check out and it was on clearance.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, this was a surprise find last weekend. I really do like it. And I'm actually glad that I saw it right before we ended to be like, oh, this is going to, because my last was going to be these guys, but we'll talk about Street Fighter later. Because I
Yeah.
even have a Godzilla right here. I have a Biker Mice from Mars right here. I want to talk to you about. This is going to be a great series
I'm
that we
enjoying
have.
this. Yeah. I'm looking forward to see where this goes.
Yeah.
But you're
So
right. You're right. Like this whole thing right here, and not to cut you off, but I'm just like, yeah, I've seen these Space Marine figures in the stores before. There's one of them that I was thinking about. It's like the enemy of the Space Marines. They're like these white four-armed creatures. I don't know the name of them. The
the Tyranids,
Tyranids, yeah.
I have the Joy Toys of them, actually. Yeah. And so yeah, I would now want to get one.
I was thinking about just getting them to army build for like random like stuff. And because like I don't necessarily care about the scale in that sense, like aliens can be whatever size they need to be. And any like if you're doing some sort of like pose or, like battle kind of thing that I'm like, just let's do it. Like if I can find them, I'll grab a couple of them. Like 3 of them would be great. Like D
Yeah.
Amazing has like a bunch of them.
That's funny because Joy Toy sells their Space Marine stuff as army builders. Like you can buy them. It's like I would want to army build that, but kind of like we were just talking about, we're almost like robot spirits is our main thing. But I think that's what makes this show cool because this is like, what's the fringe stuff that we will buy? And we could show that off. And because, like you mentioned, how we're a little more nuanced with how we're choosing our action figures. That allows us to get into a deeper discussion as we're going, talking about QC issues, engineering,
Yeah.
paint deco. I think that's going to be a really good series.
I was thinking about it as you were kind of talking about, we were talking about Spider-Man earlier, right? And I think I still have my 2099 in the box. I haven't opened it yet. So
1/6 mil?
no, the Mayfex 2099.
Oh, sick. So maybe that we do an unboxing next videos.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Okay, great idea. Maybe some episodes we're reviewing a figure. I review one, then you review.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know what?
or like I have a package hopefully that will be here sooner rather than later. Ami is gypping me on the shipping because they didn't give me DHL. Although I guess I'm spoiled.
No, I know.
But
Wait,
hopefully I'll have it
did you
soon.
tell me? Did you tell me what it was?
Yeah, it's a couple of Metal Robot Spirits Epion. So I have one already, but it's at another place on display. And so I wanted another one because I just like the way that one poses. Like it just feels very like fluid when I was with my original one.
Does it transform?
It does.
So is that your goal? One photo or one that you can mess around with and one you're just, I like this. I like this because this is you saying this is one of your favorite figures probably because you would buy two.
And I got it at a decent price. It wasn't too expensive. It was like about $100.
Oh, yeah, that
Compared
is.
to when I originally bought it. I think I bought it for like 120, 150, somewhere in there.
Okay, I'm going to need to get that one because I've been eyeing it as well. I'm just trying to limit outside of Universal Century because I went
I
to see.
know, but see, here's the thing, okay? And we have to talk about this on Gundam Explained at some point, that you are secretly no longer a UC purist.
You're right. You're right. We got to talk about this a little more. Even my love for Double O, even though I don't talk about it a lot, but we're talking with Steven, we're like, wait a minute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Midnight Hatter. We're just gonna do all these shameless plugs here,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Mine's well.
So as we start to wrap up here, folks, thank you for tuning into our first episode. Yeah, I think this was really fun. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I can't wait to see how things evolve, and we'll iron out these technical issues, and stuff like that. But I am looking forward to seeing how the audience reacts to this over time, and hopefully we can build a cool little niche audience here.
Yeah, in fact, from that, like from what you guys see, let us know what figures you jive with. So that because there's so much variety between Ian and I that we could come with anything really. And that's funny how again we say we focus on robot spirits, a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, indeed. So I'm looking forward to seeing where things go with this. I hope you all are too. And, hit that like button, give us a subscribe here on YouTube. We might even do some streams in the future or something like that. We'll kind of figure it out as we go along. It's just going to be all about time permitting and stuff like that since this is not our main gig,
Right.
But we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.
Yep. See y'all.